Every project has three budgets everyone watches: scope, cost, time. There is a fourth budget, the one that actually finishes the work, and almost nobody tracks it. This is the budget that runs out in the middle, not at the start when everyone is fresh, not at the end when the finish line pulls, in the middle, where most of the work lives. Let me show you the climate we are working in, because the energy crisis is not a feeling, it is measured. Global employee engagement sits at 21%, 1 in 5, the lowest in years. And when people disengage, it is not soft. Gallup puts the cost to the global economy at $8.9 trillion, close to 9% of global GDP. Now layer on the pace. 68% of workers feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume and pace of work. 46% say they are close to burnout. Burnout is not weakness. The World Health Organization classifies it as an occupational phenomenon, chronic workplace stress that was never managed, and it shows up in 3 stages: exhaustion, then cynicism, then a quiet sense that nothing you do matters. Hold on to that middle stage, cynicism. That is the moment the cheering stops working. We will come back to it. Here is the part almost no leader is taught. The slump is not random, it runs on a clock. In the 1980s, a researcher named Connie Gersick studied real project teams. She expected them to move through smooth, tidy stages. They did not. Instead, they sat still. Then they transformed in a sudden burst. And that burst landed at almost the exact same place every single time: the midpoint. Whether the project lasted an hour or 6 months, the transition came at the halfway mark. The trigger was not how much work was done. It was the awareness that time was running out. The midpoint works like an alarm clock. And there is a reason the middle feels so flat. 2 forces are working against you. The goal gradient effect. We speed up as the finish line gets close, which means in the middle we are at our slowest. And hyperbolic discounting. A deadline that is months away barely registers. Too far to motivate, too far to scare. So the middle is the worst of both. The reward is distant, the threat is distant, and the energy quietly drains out of the room. The slump is not a flaw in your team. It is a clock inside their heads. Great leaders do not wait for the alarm. They set it on purpose. Now, why does the middle feel so heavy? Because the middle is not lazy, it is overloaded. Our working memory is tiny. Cognitive load theory has shown this for decades. You can only hold so much at once. And on a long project, the real work competes with noise, coordination, tool switching, ambiguity. The noise wins. And the modern environment makes it brutal. A researcher at UC Irvine, Gloria, measured how long we actually focus on a single screen before switching. 47 seconds. It was 2.5 minutes in 2004. And after a real interruption, it takes around 23 minutes to get fully back to the task. So when your team cannot get deep work done, the problem is not their attention. It is an environment that breaks their focus every 47 seconds and then asks where the deep work went. The fix is not to push harder, it is to design recovery in. And recovery is not a reward, it is a performance lever. A meta-analysis across more than 2,000 people found that short breaks, 10 minutes or less, genuinely reduce fatigue. With one honest caveat: micro breaks refill the tank. They do not replace real rest. Hard thinking needs deeper recovery, so protect both. If energy drains in the middle, the answer is to put energy back in, deliberately. And here the science is unusually clear. Harvard's Teresa Amabile collected nearly 12,000 daily diary entries from real teams. She asked a simple question: what makes a great day at work? One thing beat everything else. Not praise, not pay. The simple feeling of moving forward, even small progress. She called it the progress principle, which means momentum is not a mood you hope for. It is something you engineer, one visible win at a time. And there is a trick to how you frame the start. In one study, a loyalty card that needed 10 stamps was handed out with 2 already filled in. Same number of stamps left to earn. But people who felt they had already started were nearly twice as likely to finish. Never start a phase from zero. Show the team they are already moving. Now, the team level multiplier, the thing that holds all of this together. Google studied 180 of its own teams to find what made the best ones work. It was not talent, it was not seniority. The number one predictor was psychological safety. The belief that it is safe to speak up, to admit a mistake, to challenge an idea without getting punished for it. And this is where we return to the hollow cheers. Generic praise does nothing for cynicism. A team does not run out of cheers. It runs out of belief that the cheers mean anything. What works is recognition that is specific, tied to real progress and on time. Name the contribution, name why it mattered. That lands. Confetti does not. So, who carries all of this? The leader, and not through technical skill, through the skills we use to call soft. I call them what they are, power skills. This is not a feel-good idea. It is the strongest predictor of whether the work survives the people and the people survive the work. Start with the obvious lever. Gallup found that managers account for about 70% of the variance in team engagement. The single most controllable factor in your team's energy is the person leading it. And the data on power skills is direct. The Project Management Institute compared organizations that prioritize them against those that do not. Higher success, less scope creep, less wasted budget. And yet, most organizations still spend roughly half their training money on technical skills and only a quarter on the human ones that predict success. Look further out and the trend only sharpens. The World Economic Forum's top skills for this decade are analytical thinking, then resilience, then leadership and influence. Deloitte projects that soft skill intensive roles will make up 2/3 of all jobs by 2030. When Google ranked the 8 habits of its best managers, technical expertise came in last. Dead last, coaching, communication, and empathy came first. And the cost of getting this wrong is not abstract. The PMI found that on every $1 billion spent on projects, 75 million is put at risk by poor communication alone. The technical plan tells you the project can be done. The power skills decide whether the people are still standing when it is. Which brings us to the tool everyone is arguing about, AI. And here is the honest version, not the hype. Most of the workday is not the work. Asana found that around 60% of our time goes to work about work. Status updates, chasing information, duplicated effort. Only about a quarter goes to the skilled work we were actually hired for. That is the energy leak. And that is exactly what AI is good at draining. Drafting, summarizing, meeting notes, status reports, first pass research, the repetitive cognitive load that exhausts people before the real work begins. The gains are real. In a study of 758 consultants, AI produced about 40% higher quality and a quarter faster on the tasks it was suited for. But read the same study closely and you find the warning. On tasks the model was quietly wrong about, the people using it were 19 points less likely to get the right answer. They called it the jagged frontier. AI is a force multiplier. It is also on the wrong task a force in the wrong direction. There is a subtler risk too. When we lean on the machine to think, we think less. A study of knowledge workers found that the more people trusted AI to do the task, the less critical thinking they did. So the rule is simple. Hand the machine work to the machine. Give the human energy back to the human work. Judgment, trust, the hard conversation. And on that last one, AI has a quieter gift. It can rehearse with you. You can practice the difficult conversation before it is real. The tough feedback, the missed deadline, the conflict you have been avoiding. A safe room to get it wrong as many times as you need before it counts. AI does not replace the human conversation. It helps you walk in ready. So here is where we land. The grueling marathon was never the goal. Burning people out is not a sign of ambition. It is a failure of design. Manage the energy like it is the real budget because it is. Set the alarm before the midpoint. Engineer the small wins. Protect the focus. Lead with the human skills. And let the machine carry the toil so your people can carry what only people can. Hollow cheers do not get a team across a long project. Renewable momentum does. Lead the energy, the work will follow.